What is pocket to you?
Well, I mean, obviously we're dealing with a metaphor. So when you think of a pocket, it's like it's something that you can kind of rely on to keep things safe and close to you. So, when I think of pocket, I think of, with respect to music, I think of a groove that's very comfortable and very safe and makes you feel secure in the music, like that's what I'm trying to provide if I'm playing in a band situation, or even if I'm just playing solo. I want to provide that comfortable pocket for the listener so that, the music does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say are the elements that contribute to having a strong pocket for a musician?
I think the main element has to be like a good sense of time, like being able to play with good feel and also know how to syncopate and play with the time in a way that allows the listener to remain interested without doing too much to get away from it.
Yeah, I think that's the important part is
yeah,
the not doing too much.
It's like it's like a seasoning. It's like the salt that you add to any dish. If you put too much, you ruin it. It's got to be the right amount.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you, I'm sure over time, have you figured out where your natural time falls when you're, like, what's comfortable for you, if it's sort of ahead or behind or on?
I think the tendency for me is to play a little bit more on top of the beat, which is something I'm aware of, but always not necessarily trying to pull it back, but just being aware of it allows me to control it a little bit more. That's always been my thing. I tend to play like right on top, but I like to intentionally sort of pull things back and lay back a little bit.
Yeah, fair enough. Did that sense of time evolve from listening to a certain set of musicians or a certain style of music, or was that just where it naturally felt good?
It was, good question. I think that came from playing along with the radio, like at a very early age. Yeah. And when I started to play, I started on guitar. And what I used to do, when I was about 12 or 13, I would put the radio on and just try to play every song that came on the radio. And I would have to try to learn the song before it was over. In other words, most pop music, it's like intro, verse, chorus, out. So by the time I got to that second verse, I felt like I needed to know exactly what was going on in the tune. The other thing was it was pop radio, so you would just hear the same 30, 40 songs over and over again, every day.
Things haven't changed.
Yeah, exactly. But that was the game that I used to play. Yeah. And I think that was a major factor in my sort of time development.
Yeah. And was there, did you have any an experience musically where, all of a sudden realized that pocket was something you had to focus on or work on? We've had a few examples of, the first time a couple people went in the studio and then heard themselves back, they went, "Oh, that doesn't sound."
Yeah. I don't think I ever went through that. Because you got to understand, when I was playing along with the radio, I didn't consider it practice. It was the most fun thing for me. Yeah. So I would literally do that for 12 hours a day. Yeah. And it did wonders for my time. So I don't have one of those stories where I went into the studio and was like, "Oh man, no."
That's great.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's not not to big myself up or blow my own horn, but it's more a testament of that practice, that work that I put in prior to, doing this for real.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's 12 hours a day, so that's like 12 times for each one of those songs.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got it down by like 3, and then it's autopilot. Right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
When you think of Pocket as far as musicians that you've listened to, are there players that come to mind right away?
Yeah, that is a good question. I mean, when I started, wow, I'm trying to think of how far I should go back for this to answer this
Yeah, as
question.
far as you want.
Because that that went through the ages. I mean, I guess the first two real heavies that come to mind are Stevie Wonder and Bob Marley. Like just Pocket.
Yeah.
Like, when you hear, I mean, even when you hear Bob Marley's like rhythm guitar playing, just, man.
Yeah, solid.
So solid. And, when Stevie like plays on the clavinet, like just so much groove happening there. Those were the first two for me.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, the list is endless. I really love John Scofield. I think he is probably as much an influence on my playing and especially my phrasing as somebody like Jaco Pastorius. Like, he's a real heavy for me, Scofield, and of course Jaco.
Yeah, yeah.